Alrighty, hello everybody, my name is Annabelle Smith, and this week for my blog, I would usually put a written blog up on Being Belle every Wednesday, but about 10 minutes ago I decided, you know what, I'm gonna mildly bring back my old YouTube channel and film a video today. That's something that I want to touch on today that I feel will be easier to get across over video. So here we are. This is weird. I haven't been in front of my little vlog camera in a couple of years now, but who knows. If you guys enjoy this style of communicating, maybe I will bring the videos back. Today I wanted to touch on mental health. I watched The Project last night and they were touching on the effects of quarantine and isolation and what that's having on the mental health of our community, and it's something that I really related to, and listening to them talk about it and some of the guests that they had on share their stories and how they're feeling made me feel better, knowing that, you know, oh, I'm relating to that and that's exactly what I've been going through. So hopefully by me sharing how I'm feeling at the moment, someone else out there can see this and relate to it and feel a little bit better as well. So as you guys all know, with the pandemic going on at the moment, the world is just a crazy place, and it is something that we are not used to and have been trying to deal with lots of challenges that have been thrown everybody's way. So for anyone watching overseas, I am from Melbourne in Australia, and a couple of weeks ago we went back into stage 3 lockdown because our numbers started to rise again. And so that pretty much means we have to stay at home except for essential grocery shopping, doctor's appointments, exercise, work if you can't work from home, and so only for a few reasons. Thankfully, because protocols have been set up when we were slowly allowed back out, we still have access to our training facility, which has been really great as a distraction and something that I can focus on. The government put out guidelines for high performance sport and professional sport, so we have to socially distance, everything is cleaned, we wear masks, and we're following all the rules, so that's been really great. But apart from that, my days are pretty unstructured, and for someone who likes structure and organization, that's probably been my biggest challenge, is just, figuring out what to do. I think a lot of people can relate to that. People who usually would be going to work but are now working from home, people who are homeschooling their kids and not used to that, and their day's been pretty crazy and hectic and not having much time for themselves. So being at home in Melbourne, usually I'm not here very often because we are traveling and competing, and I spend a lot of time training interstate. And so when I am home, I'm always on the go, trying to fit in as many things as I can when I am home, seeing as many of my friends and family, and I always have appointments, meetings, and do some activities that I enjoy doing as well. One of those things being yoga, specifically aerial yoga, is something that I really enjoy, and I enjoy that because it is good for my own mental health and for my own well-being, and that's kind of what I want to touch on. So the people that they had guest speaking on The Project last night were saying how, we've been thrown all these curveballs at the moment and been forced to isolate, and obviously everyone understands the reasons why and the necessities for why this has to happen, but it kind of already puts a bit of a, push on your mental health, and it's challenging to deal with these things, so people may not be coping as well. But then to add to that, people's coping mechanisms or things that they do to look after their mental health are things that now we cannot do because we have to stay at home. So for example, hanging out with your family and friends, seeing your grandparents, going to exercise classes, going to the gym, all these things at the moment we're not able to do, and they're usually the things that we do to look after ourselves. So it's kind of a double whammy, I guess, and that's a little bit how I'm feeling. Sometimes I like to, usually I'd have training in the morning, but because we're only training once a day in the afternoons at the moment, I would then typically go and do a yoga class or do Pilates or something else like that, but we can't do that at the moment. And yes, I could put a mat on my floor in my lounge room, but it doesn't quite have the same effect as, separating yourself from your home environment, going to a studio, feeling like you're in a peaceful environment and you're doing something to look after yourself. So yeah, I think it's just been a bit of a struggle, and I'm sure lots of people can relate to not being able to do those things that you enjoy. I think it's a time where people who are very empathetic and super sensitive and maybe introverted, it's also a struggle because you want to be doing the right thing, you want to be looking after everyone around you and making sure your family and your friends are okay, but those people are sometimes the ones that don't speak up or reach out for help, or maybe if friends don't, you know, they're not the first person that people think of to ask if they're okay, because usually they would bottle things up or, you know, be that supportive friend for everybody else. So it's an important time to reach out to those people. I think a lot of athletes have been absolute champions in dealing with the postponement of everything, the cancellation of everything, whether you're an athlete or not and you play recreational sport. You know, kids not being able to have a footy season or a netball season. It's just so sad to me. You know, this year has been like none other, and hopefully we won't have to experience something like this again, but who knows. But yeah, everyone's livelihoods have obviously been shaken up, and it's been difficult. I think, you know, I know a lot of athletes probably read my blogs, and I want to speak to you guys for a second. People have been congratulating us and saying how well we're doing at coping with everything, and I've been on a roller coaster myself of struggling and then being fine and then struggling and then being fine, and I don't know, at the end of the day it's still really hard to think that everything that we've worked towards for this year has been ripped away. It's not guaranteed to happen next year, but obviously we'll prepare as if it is, and the world's going to be doing everything that they can to make sure the Olympics happens next year. But it's like, it's our identity. People kind of say once you retire you struggle with that loss of identity, and at the moment I feel like I'm a little bit in that boat, but I'm still, you know, I'm obviously not retired. And it is good because training's obviously been a nice little distraction and something I can focus on, but all the things I do around training that also help me perform well in the pool can't happen at the moment. So I don't feel like I'm very balanced, which is just reality at the moment, and there's not too much that we can do about that. But at the same time, I feel like I have so many resources and so many people looking out for me and making sure that I've got other things to be doing, and that I am just being okay with taking a bit of a break and slowing down and having more time on my hands, or not worrying about how late I go to bed or how late I get out of bed. But it doesn't really make you feel great when you are so used to structure and getting things done, and now, you know, you wake up at 8, 9 o'clock and don't have much to do before you head out to training, or it just makes you feel lethargic and not really have so much energy, which I don't enjoy that feeling. I don't know about you guys. I guess that's how I've been feeling. I'm sure there's other people out there feeling the same. Sometimes I wonder, like, you know, I need to be more productive during the day. I've got all this time. I can be working on new projects, or I can be writing more blogs, or trying to create my business, or, you know, calling all my friends. And I think when we put pressure on ourselves to be achieving during this time, or to be being productive during this time, it kind of just sets you up to feel bad or feel like you're failing. And it's hard because then you just try and accept that it is okay right now to not be doing those things, but then you still feel unproductive. So it's a bit of a cycle, but I'm just hopeful that moving forward, this is only going to get better and things will slowly start to go back to normal. But then again, our old normal's probably not going to be around for a long time. I guess the second lockdown for Melbourne has also been challenging, because it is just Victoria, or it is just Metro Melbourne. So we're seeing, you know, people around the country at the beach or at cafes, hanging out with friends, except we can't do that. And so the first time it felt like the whole of Australia was really supportive and in this together, but the second time around it kind of feels like a bit of a punishment for Victoria. And I just think of the severity of what's happening to people in Melbourne at the moment and the issues that people are dealing with. We just all need to have a little bit more empathy and spread some kindness, and I think by all doing the right thing and encouraging everyone to do the right thing, speaking out about things like this, that everyone's struggling at the moment, and that's okay. We've just got to make sure we are supporting each other, is the most important thing to be doing right now. So all in all, I am sending love out to everyone who is affected by this at the moment. If your family has been directly affected by the virus, all around the world, I know people are still struggling really hard and countries are doing far worse than Australia is doing right now. So my thoughts are with you guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed me talking to the camera rather than reading it through a screen. And if you do like this way of communicating, let me know. Could bring back my YouTube channel. Until next week, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week and look after yourselves. See ya.